I forgot my water. I filled it, stuck it in the fridge.
Oh boy,
Got my water, and here she is.
You and your water. There
There
you
she
go.
is, bringing my water over.
Have been reunited.
She's so good to me.
The water girl, Bruins guru, and sponsor.
That's right. She's like a 3 in everything deal there.
That's right. If you notice, I'm doing a little like B-roll pre-show footage here. So for the folks at home that I'll put in.
That's good. I'm glad we're doing that. I noticed you were recording. Oh, that's good.
Yeah. Just a little 30-second, 2 minutes, screenshot of for the folks at home of us prior to an episode.
Not a bad idea. But I would like to call Gary Bettman though. Hello, Gary Bettman. Hello, yes. You suck.
Hey, and a whole NHL like player safety department, you just are terrible. You are horrible. Bad people. Yeah.
Oh my God, they're horrible.
Right.
They're so bad.
Find your mouthpiece and put on your jock straps. It's the Sports Blitz with Doug and Robbie.
Okay, how long is your show?
You guys have such a great setup.
Listen, so. If you're under a rock or if you're in a cave, come on out and listen to our episode.
It was fun talking baseball. I love talking Red Sox. I love talking coaching.
I don't care because I would rather there not be an MLB season than have to sit and watch the colossal embarrassment.
Hey, hello, I am Bloom. Yeah, it's Doug and Robbie from the Sports Blitz. I just wanted to find out whether you need some pitching.
There you go. In 5, 4, 3. What's going on, everybody, and welcome to episode number 83 of the Sports Blitz. Yes, everybody, it is episode number 83. We are back for another episode, and as always, I'm Robbie, joined by my companion, my compadre, my co-host, Doug, as always. How you doing tonight, Doug?
I am doing great, Robbie. A very full week of sports. So looking forward to this episode.
And talk about.
There is a lot to talk about. So I'm very excited and very excited to be here. And hey, listen, if you're in a cave or under a rock, come on out, listen to or watch our episode. Don't know what kind of mechanism you would have to watch it. We're under a rock or in a cave, but Stone tablets. Yes, we also do those too. We have somebody who does that. So if you wanted to come out and check us out, please do. And ready to roll.
Ready to roll. And yeah, exactly. And by the way, as always, a big shout out to our sponsor, Zyman Organizing. Definitely give them a look. We always link to their Facebook page on our YouTube videos. So definitely, give them a look-see, give them a call, whatever. I don't know, whatever people do, however people get in touch these days.
Absolutely.
Just do it. Just get it done. Get it done, people.
Absolutely.
We command you to get it done.
Basically, the good thing is what they do is they do organizing and decluttering, and everybody in the world has or a cabinet that needs to be organized or decluttered, and it's really terrific, really great. But we thank Zyman Organizing for being our sponsor.
Yes, and also our Bruins guru and water lady.
Water lady, right. Back off some of the other stuff, but that's okay.
But yeah, so let's get into tonight's episode. Because like we said, we got a lot to talk about, and we are going to kick things off, not with football,
not too hard.
Baseball. Yeah, don't want to kick things off too hard. No touchbacks. But we're actually not going to kick it off.
No onside kicks.
Nope. We're going to start things off tonight with baseball, and obviously, notably, the Boston Red Sox, who still, as we enter the month of May, get into the month of May, sit in first place in the American League East, as the Red Sox did just wrap up a series win against the Detroit Tigers, taking 2 out of 3 with a victory this afternoon. And they're also kind of in the battle early on for best record in MLB somehow, because there's really no teams that are kind of pulling away with record-wise. Everybody kind of seems to be clumped up at the top there in terms of the best records. So it's very exciting start to the Red Sox season. Doug, I just wanted to sort of, I know it's been a couple weeks since we talked about the Sox, obviously with our NFL draft preview episode last episode. By the way, just before I completely forget, big shout out to Doug's brother Josh for coming on last week to our draft preview special. Had a great time.
Absolutely.
Lots of awesome insights into the upcoming draft, which we'll get into sort of the post-draft reaction here coming up in just a little bit. But I just wanted to send one last big thank you and shout out to Josh for jumping on with us last week.
It was great, and it was great to have him on. But he says, "Oh, I'm not a guru, whatever." He not only watches, but he does fantasy football. He knows his football really well. He knows his baseball really well. We're gonna have him on again. We're going to have him on again for some baseball talk because he's a Red Sox fiend, just like you are. Because I'm just going to sit back and let you guys talk about the Red Sox. He's went to Rivers State Camp too, so we'll probably have him on for Rivers episode too. But again, thanks Josh for coming on. He was great. It was a wonderful episode. If you haven't seen it, grab onto it right now because it's interesting. It's interesting what we said and then seeing the draft.
What happened, we'll get into, coming up here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
But yeah, in terms of the Red Sox, I just want to sort of get your reactions to the way things have been going right now. Again, I know it's still, early in the baseball season, only, a little over a month in, but right now, Red Sox holding firm to first place in the AL East. So, something's going right for that team right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that they are finally in that gelling kind of situation. When we talked back a while back when they lost the first few games, we were like, "Uh-oh, here it comes. Here it comes again."
The first series of Baltimore.
Yeah, here it comes again.
Here against Baltimore, I mean, it was not the prettiest first series in the world.
No, but I think right now, I think that not only are they gelling very well, which means I think they're playing together very well. I do, they're not playing perfect. They're really not. I mean, think of the game that they had today. They didn't play perfectly against not a really great team. And they were kind of battling.
That's an understatement. Detroit, worst record in the whole Major League Baseball.
I was trying to be nice, Robbie, but I guess you might as well throw that in there.
Just a little bit.
I know. But again, they should be knocking some of these guys like out of the park. No pun intended. Or actually pun intended.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
They should be knocking these guys around. And to see today's game, and I'm glad they won the game today. And it was actually exciting toward the end, which was really great.
Late inning comeback.
Yeah, late inning comeback. And they were coming back the whole game.
I know.
You didn't have to do that against a team like them.
No.
So the things that we're going to talk about, I think, in the next few minutes is a couple of things. One is pitching and the other is sloppy play. I mean, Alex Cora came out today and he said something about the fact that that's one thing that they want to improve on is the sloppy play out there. Is trying to figure out how they can cut down on a lot of that. I think the pitching has been fairly well, except in the, obviously in the mid-range innings where they really don't have anybody mid-range right now that can really, they do, but they're not pitching well. So those are the two things that I can think of that are issues to me as we start to move forward. But on the flip side of it, Alex has got these guys together, winning together, and got them gelling in a way where they're super excited every time they go out there, and it shows.
Oh yeah.
It shows.
Oh,
And that's to me, again, like we talked about before, Robbie, that to me is a manager. Manager that not only
complete
can-
180-degree flip
Yeah,
from
absolutely,
last year.
absolutely.
I mean,
Not
it's
only
not
a
even,
guy-
not even close. It's not even close.
Yeah, not only a guy that can manage, I mean, manage the play and
Right,
manage
right.
manage the pitching and manage over here and manage the outfield and manage all kinds of aspects of managing, but also give them a little confidence boost.
Right.
Because that's what the players are saying. That's what you just watch the dugout after somebody hits a single. The players are going nuts. Those are the kinds of teams that are going to win. And we're going to talk about somebody later on. There's one reason that did not come out about a certain draft person, somebody in the draft who was picked up for a specific reason. We're going to discuss that later, but it kind of relates to what I'm talking about right now. But he's got those guys just, okay, I want to win. Not only do we want to win, but I want to be in first place. I want to be ahead of everybody in first place. I want to be not just in first place, but I want to be 10 games out of the next guy, of the next team. That's kind of what he's got going. But the two things I think are issues is the sloppy play and the mid-range pitching. Robbie, what do you think it is?
Well, I mean, I agree with you completely. I think, first of all, before I get into sort of the negatives, the big overarching positive has been the offense. I mean, that offense is putting up, 9, 10, 11, 12 runs a game right now. I mean, they are just.
I hear 13.
Yeah, exactly. No, exactly. You're exactly right. They're just pounding the cover off the ball. I mean, what, 4? So I was at the game on Tuesday night. I actually went back to, which I was going to sort of discuss a little bit later on, more in depth.
I know. I wanted to find out about that too.
Yeah, I was
because I saw on.
Stay tuned. This is a teaser
media.
for my final thoughts tonight, folks. So stay tuned. But Tuesday night, what I was going to say is they hit 4 home runs. 4 different guys hit home runs in that game. So offensively, I'm not concerned at all. I mean, this lineup, they've been, especially the top half of it, they've just been getting the job done. Boom, 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 boom. And it's been very, very impressive to watch. But I think the thing, like you were just talking about, and this is what I kind of want to really get into with this team, is the fact that the bullpen has been struggling big time. The bullpen has been struggling big time, especially the middle part of the bullpen. Matt Barnes has been doing very well as closer. Don't get me wrong. I mean, the back half of the bullpen, especially Matt Barnes, as closer, has been very, very strong. However, it's been getting there that's been an issue. It's been kind of the same guys as well who have struggled, who have been, putting this team in tough situations, where even when they get a big lead, like they did in a couple of the games against Detroit, all of a sudden that middle relief starts to let Detroit back into the game. And it was just very frustrating to watch. And, if you're going to be a successful championship caliber team, you've got to have stronger middle relief, period, end of story, because you've got to, if you're going to get up by 6-7 runs, you've got to be able to hold that down. You can't just, all of a sudden, you can't just all of a sudden, see that lead cut to, now it's 3 runs, now it's 2 runs, now it's 1 run, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that, to me, is a big time concern right now, that the bullpen just cannot seem, like I said, the middle of the bullpen especially just is struggling immensely right now. And I hope that they're going to turn a corner at some point, but it's very tough to watch right now, despite the fact that, like I said, they're in first place and they've had this success. When you get up against those really, really talented teams, you're not necessarily going to be able to win by, getting into a home run derby, so to speak, or a slugfest with them, so to speak. You've got to be able to shut things down on the pitching side, and they're just not doing that right now. So I guess I'll ask you, Doug, when it comes to the bullpen, sort of how big of a concern is it for you, especially as we continue to get further along into this season?
It is concerning. It's concerning in a way where I think they need that middle relief. That middle relief is super important, especially if they're down by 1 or 2 runs, even 3 runs, especially on a good team. That middle relief is just huge. And in today's game is a perfect example of mid relief. And again, I told you, for some reason, I seem to be coming into these games either at the beginning or the very end. So I'm not seeing a lot of that middle relief yet. But what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing on social media and on like Bleacher Report and other reports is the fact that the middle relief is just not working out right now. I just think that it is concerning, because that's where we can start losing some of these games that we should be winning. It's very concerning. I do have some breaking news, though, if you want to hear some breaking news.
Sure.
Always have some breaking news. Now, I'm not sure if it's breaking news for Robbie, because Robbie always gets, these kinds of notifications. But 25 minutes before we came on the air, the Red Sox signed Brandon Workman to a minor league deal.
Really? I did not hear this.
Yep.
This is breaking news to me as well. Wow.
Yes. Yep.
Interesting.
So, they've signed him to a minor league deal. I'm not sure what that means yet, because it just obviously, that's all the headlines said, more to come. So I'm not sure. Again, it just came on 25 minutes before we came on. So it was about 46 minutes ago or so, probably about 50 minutes ago when it first came out. But just saw that. So they're obviously starting to think about some things and think about some guys that they can maybe bring in to help with the middle relief. So hopefully that's what they're doing. How concerning it is for you? I know you're always concerned about something when it has to do with the Red Sox, but
yeah, I mean, just one. Here, how long you got? No, I think this is definitely it's definitely the biggest concern for me. No question about it, because, like I said before, you cannot go far and win championships if you're constantly having to get into these, 13, 12, 12, 11, 12, 9 slugfests with teams. It's not going to work when, it's not going to work against these better teams with these better bullpens. It might work against the Tigers or the Orioles or the, the Texas Rangers, whoever. It's not going to work against the Yankees, against even the Mariners, against I don't know, these upper echelon, the Indians, these upper echelon teams in the league that have these good bullpens that will be able to shut you down. And if you can't shut them down, then you're not gonna be very successful. And I think that's the thing that really concerns me is, if you're able to get a lead against one of these teams and then your bullpen, isn't able to hold it, then all of a sudden now you're having to come back against a bullpen where you might not be able to come back. And that is a scary premise for me, going forward with this team. So listen, I mean, the start that this team has had to this season has been a welcome sight and far better than I expected it to be, I would say. I think they have overachieved expectations thus far, in this young season. But I'm all about sustainability. as well. And I just
Right.
I fear that if the bullpen does not get fixed, if the bullpen does not step up and get fixed, that the bullpen issues are going to overrun the offensive ability to mask those issues. So I think it definitely is a big concern as we continue, like I said, to get deeper and deeper into the season.
Right. No, yeah. I mean, that totally makes sense to me, but I know that's definitely a concern.
Yeah, it really is. Again, I mean, there's still a lot of baseball left to be played. I think it's going to be very interesting to see. I know the Sox are going back to Baltimore this weekend for a series. Again, a very winnable series against, a very beatable team. We'll see. Maybe they can, get another series win here, and again, start to rebuild some of that momentum that seemed to be lost a little bit with the series loss to the Rangers, and then sort of splitting the first couple of games there with Detroit. But I think hey, listen, I mean, like I said, it's still early in the baseball season. I think there's going to be a lot more baseball for us to talk about as these weeks go on. As we get deeper into the season, for sure. That being said, a team that's definitely not early in their season, actually is at the very end of their regular season, is the Boston Bruins, who, by the way, right now, as we are on air, currently lead the New York Rangers 3-0 after the second period of play. So very impressive showing today for the Bees, who a couple nights ago did lock up yet another trip to the Stanley Cup playoffs, as they currently sit in the third seed in the East Division. A very exciting time for the Bees again. Just after tonight, just 3 games. No, excuse me. After tonight, just 2 games remaining in the season.
Yeah,
wait,
I think it's 2.
Is it 3 or 2?
2 or 3.
I know they
Yeah.
probably get the rate, yeah. But regardless, right now they're in the third spot. They're into the playoffs, Doug. So I want to start there. Just your reaction to the Bruins earning another playoff spot, and on top of that, this is kind of a two-part question here. What are your reaction to the Bruins, locking up a playoff berth, and ultimately, what seed do you think that this team will end up with at the end of this last sort of week here of games?
It's a great question about the seeding. I am absolutely ecstatic about the way that they're playing. They're playing so well right now that even the Bruins experts that are out there, even the NHL experts are a little nervous about it. Really good. I like that. I like to hear that. I like to hear that. The Capitals, Penguins, and those guys are,
who, by the way, we've done okay against this season. I mean, we've done decently against them this season.
We have, and I'll tell you, I'll tell you this, man. Don Sweeney's deciding to pick up Taylor Hall and to pick up
what a move, huh? I mean, Taylor Hall is looking like Taylor Hall. He is.
Taylor Hall is exactly
in a big way.
Yeah, he's where he's supposed to be. He's where he wants to be, and that's why he's playing so well. That's why he has the kind of energy he has. That's why you see the Taylor Hall of old.
Yeah,
old. I don't mean he's old. I just meant
no. I know exactly what you mean.
Years.
It's true. I mean, he's playing like the Taylor Hall that everybody knew that he could be, as basically an NHL star, and all of that. So yeah, he's been looking really good.
Yeah, he's been playing off the hook. I mean, I think he's had goals in like 10 out of the last 12 games, or 9 out of the last 10, something like that. 9 out of the last 7.
At least points. I mean, he's just
It's just that they're all playing off the hook. Talk about a team that's gelling and has been gelling for a while. the last, I would say, and I pretty much watch every game if I'm not on recording,
course.
we're not on with the sports blitz with Robbie, because there is a game tonight, but and
I'm sure the
Bruins Guru is monitoring it for us. Yes, the Bruins Guru is monitoring it for us. I love the fact that this is what they're doing. They're grabbing a 1-goal, 2-goal lead, like up front. They're like bang, bang, done. And then they're just playing. They're playing the game. They do still make the only thing that, and again, we can come up with some concerns, but the only thing that I can see that's a concern is they're still letting, when the puck is in their end, they're still having that issue of passing, of not that they're not passing well, they are, but they're still kind of, it's almost like they're dropping the puck, but they're not passing, they're giving it up in their own end. But what I like about it is they have the wherewithal to be able to, if something like that happens, they're able to grab the puck back now, as opposed to even last year where they were just giving up goals. So they're not doing that now, which is great. I think the energy that they're bringing to the ice has been unbelievable. I mean, my wife and I are watching the games. We're looking at each other. My wife, of course, the Bruins girl, we're looking at each other going, what just happened? Did Taylor Hall just score a goal? What was that? What I suggest people do, especially if you're a Boston sports fan, even if you're not a hockey fan, watch the Bruins play. Watch how they play together. What I like is the fact that Don Sweeney picked up some depth. And the fact is that when Carlo goes out, when Miller goes out, you got Vekanainen, you got Clifton, you got all these guys, even if they're young, they're able to come in and take over for these veteran guys and be able to do well too. He has such he's got such depth that I think it's going to be difficult for teams to win. I really do, because of not just the way they're playing, but because of the excitement that they're throwing to the ice. They brought in a couple of guys. They brought in 3 guys who are doing very well.
Yeah.
And Don Sweeney just looks like Danny Ainge from 2008.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's true. It's true. It's very true. And I think you hit the nail right on the head when you said that, I mean, this team, other teams should watch out for this team in the playoffs, even if they're going to be, ultimately the number 3 seed, which it's looking like is probably going to be the best bet for them.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
I just don't think they're going to catch Pittsburgh or Washington. Even there's still that chance, but I just too many things would have to happen over these last couple of games. I think the 3rd seed is what it ultimately is going to be. But again, you just look at how they fared against those teams, and just the fact that they've been able to play with all 3 of the other teams, in that division that are going to the playoffs. Obviously the Caps, the Penguins, and then the Islanders.
Right.
I think that this team has and this is sort of feeds perfectly into the next question I wanted to talk about, Doug, is sort of this whole idea of what is this team's playoff ceiling? Because I think when I think about it that way, and I see what this team is doing right now at the the peak time, right at the end of the season, I think that ceiling is pretty dang high. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not just saying that because I'm a Bruins fan, but this team can play with any of those 3 other teams, and they are going to be an extremely tough out, I believe, come postseason time. But I was curious to get your. And by the way, they're now leading the Rangers 4-0 just at the start of the 3rd period. But I was curious to get your take on that whole question of, what this team's, again, quote unquote playoff ceiling is coming up here.
Yeah. First of all, I love the baseball analogy. Going to be a tough out. That was good. I like that.
No
that
pun
was very,
intended completely there.
that was very good. That came from deep inside, so I like that. That's
Came from
excellent.
left field.
That's
Came
right.
out of left field.
Deep out of left field. That was very good. And the other thing is that you talk about seeding. I see these all the time. I see these rankings all the time of NFL teams and NHL teams and the NBA, and
They mean nothing. They mean nothing.
I don't care. I don't care. I don't even
Look at when they went to the Cup Finals 2 years ago. What seed were they that year? What, the 4? It doesn't
Exactly.
matter. It doesn't
The
matter.
seeding has no bearing
Right.
on what happens in the NHL playoffs, which, by the way, is a totally different animal than the regular season.
It is
Yeah.
also a very different animal this season because you're playing literally for the first 2 rounds, you're playing only the teams within your own division.
Right. Exactly. You're playing the same teams over and over and over again. You get to know them pretty well. Like really well. Like super well.
Oh yeah.
But I think the seedings don't mean anything to me, because there's always a team that can beat another team, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Depending on the day and the time and whatever. I think we've done really, really well. And again, if we're third seed, I don't care. I think we've done really well against Pittsburgh. I think we knocked them over a few times. We've done really well against the Caps. We've knocked them over a few times. I'm not even worried about it. I'm actually excited to see us beat them. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Oh,
The Islanders seem to have had our ticket this year.
But the last couple times we played them, it's
last couple times, yes,
started to come around.
Absolutely.
It's not
absolutely. And I don't know if you noticed. I don't know if you noticed, Robbie, but they've started to grow the playoff gear. Not that that's more important than anything else. But I was talking to my wife last game.
Superstition, man. Superstition.
Was a couple of games ago when I saw. Wait a minute. I was like, wait, Patrice has grown a beard. Oh, wait a minute. Wait. Let's see. Let's see if Marchand's got the beard going. Yep, he does. Okay. Because these are guys that don't typically have beards. Oh, you know who was growing it that I was like, okay, the third one has to be DeBrusque. Because he's this clean cut kid that doesn't have any facial hair at all. And he's growing one and it's barely coming in. So it's pretty funny. But yeah, they're definitely starting to grow those. And that's just something that they've always done forever, is grow those. But besides that, I mean, what you're saying is that what the ceiling is, if they play the way they're playing right now, I see them going very, very deep, extremely deep into not just into the playoffs, but I'm thinking, and I don't like to jinx them.
Make them run, yeah.
I think they are, and I think that they can get into the Eastern, the finals there. I just think that
you can't even say Eastern. For Eastern.
I was trying
to say like Eastern Conference.
I know. I stopped myself.
Like weird, yeah. No, I
stopped myself because I
really
just trying to. Yeah, I figure out how to say this. They can go very deep. What they have to do is they have to do the same thing that they did in the regular season, except step it up like 20 steps.
Right.
Because what I'm hoping is, and we didn't really touch upon like individual players, except I just mentioned a few, but we didn't really touch upon. I know the Krejci line has been playing. He's been playing out of his mind right now.
You want to talk about Taylor Hall? How about that goal? I know it was a few games ago, but there was one goal that he set up for Taylor Hall where he made this like just amazing like spin around like deep move around the guy and found Hall in front for the goal. I was like, what? How did he do that? I was like, my mind was blown by it.
Exactly. And the Krejci typically plays really, really well in the playoffs, but he doesn't typically plays good, but not super well during the regular season. So I'm hoping because he's playing so well right now, and it's still the regular season. I'm hoping that he takes that play to the next level, to the playoffs, and keeps going with what he's doing. I think he will. I think that these three guys that came in have energized this team even more, because I think they were energized up front. I think they have energized this and energized the team. And I think they're all, Taylor Hall said something in an interview. It was the day that he came to Boston. He was telling the story about how they all drove in, and it was a pain in the butt because it was like 14 hours. They were coming from Canada, and then they had to do the whole COVID thing, and it was a pain in the butt. So, and basically, he was saying how, that he loves the fact that he's a Bruin, and he's very, very glad that he's a Bruin. And what was interesting about that interview was the fact that they asked him, the idiot who asked the question, asked about when he had his really, really great season. We had 30 or 40 goals or whatever it was, some crazy number of goals. And he won the MVP, I think, that year too. He was great. He said, how did that happen? I mean, duh. What do you mean, how did it happen? I mean, he was just good. He said that when he got there, he really kind of gelled. And he even said, even with the teams that he's been with, he says he's gelled. When he's played well, he's gelled really quickly with the guys. He obviously had gelled instantly with the Bruins, because number one, he wanted to be there. Number two, he's excited about being there. That just elevates your play, 12 steps in the right direction, because you want to be there. You don't want to be in a team. How are you going to play? Well, if you're playing for another contract, you're going to play off your, off your rocker. But if you're not playing for another contract, which you're always doing, but if you're not, and you got a 3-year contract, you're in your first year, your 3-year contract, you got to play. You might play kind of crappy because you got a crappy team. But what are you supposed to do? And say that nobody, got anybody for your team extra to make the team better. Taylor Hall loves this team. He wanted to come here during the summertime. We talked about that before, and it just didn't work out. And now it's working out, and it's working out for him and the team. And they're just playing off the hook. So, do I think their ceiling is really high? Yeah, I certainly think their ceiling is high. Absolutely.
Absolutely. No, absolutely.
Yeah, well, I wanted to ask you a question, Robbie.
Sure.
This is kind of out of the last couple of days, because hearing some rumors here and there. Who do you think is going to be the backup to Rask?
That's a really good question. Honestly, I'm just going with I hate to say it, I'm kind of riding the high hand right now. I think it's going to be Swayman. I think, he's pitched another shutout tonight. He's just looked so impressive in his starts up until this point. I think you got to ride the high hand. Get it while the going's time. He's probably not going to see that much time, given the fact that during the playoffs they tend to go with the ace for the most part. But I think right now you got to go with Swayman. That's again, I know they have some good goalies right now. It's a good problem to have, where you got a couple of good guys who can step in there and be successful. But I mean, like I said, he's the hot hand. I think you go with the hot hand. I think you go with Jeremy Swayman, like I said.
I actually think you're right. And the reason I think you are correct is because not just the rumors that are out there, but if you look at, they threw Halak into the last game. He was horrible, terrible. Jeremy Swayman has obviously proved that he's up there, NHL goalie. And you should hear the stuff that I've seen, and maybe you have seen it, but I've seen a ton of things that have been talked about in Providence about Jeremy Swayman, how his puck sight is awesome. He finds the puck very easily. He's very energetic and he's one of those guys who just is very, very team oriented. And he has played really, really well. That's why he's up. I think what they may do is, depending on if they want to do seeding, and again, I don't care about the seeding stuff. So I'm not sure what they have to do to be third seed or whatever. I don't care about that stuff. I just watch the games and I don't really care about the seeding. But it wouldn't surprise me if what they decide to do is decide to throw Halak in there, give Rask the last 2 or 3 games, whatever's left, 2 or 3, I can't remember. Throw Halak in there. Or give Jeremy Swayman a little bit of time, and that's fine.
Right.
If you want to throw him in, that's fine. But throw Halak in there and then be able to give Swayman and Rask some time to heal whatever needs to be healed. Not that I'm saying that they're hurt, but you need that time to be able to get back.
Right.
And then of course you start Rask in the playoffs. And don't be surprised if you see, and this is my prediction right now.
3 games left after today. It's
3 games left. Okay. Well, I would probably stick Halak in maybe second or last game and just have him do whatever he needs to do. Have them rest and have them. And sometimes it works the opposite. You keep playing and playing and playing, and then you play for the playoffs, and then you're good because you've been playing. So I don't want it to take too much time, but I think, to give them a little bit of a rest, I think that would work if that works for them.
Yeah.
They probably won't do that, but I would do that. And don't be surprised, and I'm going to say it right now, I think Jeremy Swayman's going to be the backup.
I mean, I'm in agreement with you. Like I just said, I think my gut is telling me, my eyes are telling me that he has been the hottest hand right now. I think you got to ride that.
Right.
For sure. And so, obviously, we'll have to wait and see what ultimately Cassidy decides to do, but I would go in the same direction with that as well in terms of the goaltending situation for the playoffs. And speaking of a team that we were talking about, and a team that could potentially be a Bruins playoff opponent, the Washington Capitals had a little bit of an issue the other night with the New York Rangers. In particular, one Capitals player, I should say, had an issue with the New York Rangers a couple of games ago, and that'd be one Tom Wilson, who seems to be making a name for himself and not in the positive multiple times this season. I know that there was he was suspended for something that happened in the Bruins in a game against the Bruins. I think it was involving Carlo.
Yep.
There was a hit on Carlo. Yeah.
Yes.
That's why I thought
Nasty hit on Carlo.
he was suspended for that. And then was fined $5,000 for some actions during a fight with the Rangers 2 games ago, which then caused the Rangers to come out with a statement basically calling for the head of the NHL Department of Player Safety to lose his job, which then caused the Rangers to be fined $250,000. And then the Rangers president and GM were fired because apparently they didn't agree with the team statement. So it's just a big old cluster, what going on right now. But getting back to the original point of that whole monologue there, Tom Wilson and his antics. Just I was curious to get your thoughts on what has sort of gone on with him, and if you thought, obviously, back when the Bruins incident happened, they did suspend him for, I think it was like 5 or 6 games. But should the NHL be doing a lot more than it is in this particular case with Tom Wilson?
Well, what's interesting is that I was going to kind of save this for my final thought, but I
well,
will.
if you want to, I will gladly move on and let you do that. So
yeah.
Don't.
Well, I was going to, but I will tell you. I will tell you a portion of it, and this will give you, and then I have a little bit of a rant.
Right. Yeah.
For my final thought, but
right.
The answer to the question that you actually have on here, it says Tom Wilson situation, should NHL be doing more?
Yeah.
My answer is yes. and then I will continue to tell you why in my fun.
Okay, sounds good. I agree with you. Yes, the NHL should be doing more, and I'm
Yeah,
already looking
I'm
forward.
gonna say right
to-
now until I
looking
rant.
forward to hearing your final thoughts.
Oh,
So,
yeah. Oh,
I'll
yeah.
brace myself already.
I could definitely answer that question, but then I'm going to reiterate.
Yeah,
about
yeah.
that.
All right. Well, we will move on to the other Boston team that is in action right now and that is vying for a playoff spot right now, sort of sitting right on that borderline there of a top 6 seed in the Eastern Conference, basically the borderline of the playing
Killing
round.
me. They're killing me.
I know.
They're
The
killing me, Wade. They're
Boston
killing me.
Well, what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with a very positive performance that occurred a couple of
course.
games ago, and then we'll get into the less positive and the frustration that is the 2020-21 Boston Celtics. Jason Tatum against the Spurs. First of all, what a comeback against the Spurs. 32 points down at one point of that game. They come back and they win in overtime. But Jason Tatum tied the record in that game, tied Larry Bird for the most single game points in Celtics history with 60 in that victory. Just yeah, go ahead. Okay.
There's one small difference.
Okay. Yes, I know you're gonna say
You are
I don't
absolutely
give a crap
correct.
if it was in overtime or not.
That's right. Larry
I
Bird
don't
did
give
it
a
in no
crap.
in regular
Points. So
regular.
get over it, people. He scored 60 points. I don't care.
That's right. No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that it's any less. What I'm saying is that it's just slightly different, but still the same.
Fooey. I call fooey on that one. I just
No
made up
say,
that
baby.
word. I call
It's still
fooey.
60 points. No matter
Yeah, 60
get it
points
in-
and 60 points.
in
Exactly.
regulation or overtime or both.
60 points is still very impressive.
Yes.
And
Very
they came back. They won the game after being down by 32 points. It's also
Yes.
impressive. Even though the Spurs aren't that great, you can argue that they should have been down in that game to begin with. But just as the Celtics guy that I know that you are, I know you and I were texting during the end of this game. Just give me your reactions to Tatum's performance and that Spurs game in general, which, like I said, was just a wild one for sure. If you're a basketball fan or a Celtics fan in particular.
This will tell you what my feeling is. My feeling is that you can get rid of every single other player on this team and keep Jason Tatum and build around him. That's my statement. And the statement basically means, to people who don't understand the statement, I hope you do, but if you don't, that's okay.
How can you not understand that statement? That was so clear and succinct. I mean,
It is, but you know, if you're watching the show and you're not quite sure about the sports end of things and you're not quite sure what the heck I'm talking about, is that Danny Ainge looks like a genius right now. I mean, he didn't take Markelle Fultz, he took Jason Tatum.
He traded out of the #1 pick to get
Traded
Jason Tatum.
out of the #1 pick.
How many times do you hear that? Team trading out of the #1 pick?
You don't, except Danny looks like a freaking brilliant guy on that point.
On
Not
that
on
one,
anything
yeah.
else, just on that. Just on that. Let me clarify that.
Yeah,
Just on that.
100% with you.
Yeah, he's developing into a very, very special player. And he's fun to watch. And I'm not going to compare him to anybody because I can't stand that's going to be another rant for another day. But I can't stand when people say, "Oh, this player looks like this player, or this player is acting like this player, this player shoots like this player."
No, he's
when there's a comparison, it drives me crazy because you can't compare. We're going to compare Mahomes to Brady. Okay, you can't do that because Brady has like how many?
Or how about
6,
Max? Or how about
7?
People this week who, for some reason, were trying to compare Mac Jones to Brady. It's like, stop it. Just stop. As
You can't compare anybody to anybody. Mac Jones hasn't played one down in the NFL yet. How can there be a comparison?
Believe me, it's ridiculous.
Drives me nuts. Drives me crazy about that. So what it comes down to is that Tatum's special.
Yeah.
I think what we need to do is we need to get a few more special players to be able to play with Tatum and to help him out. Do I think there are a couple of others that are on the team that are Yeah, I think Jaylen Brown's a special player. I think he has a little bit of an attitude that he needs changing. And that's just my opinion. I don't know the guy. There's one day he can score 20 points, and the next day he's out because he's, got a hangnail or something. I don't know. Kemba's the same way. Kemba can score. Kemba's the last game that they did, Kemba, it was yesterday.
Kemba went off again. Yeah, went off again.
34 points yesterday. So, it's I think the name of the game here is inconsistency.
Oh yeah.
They cannot seem to win on a consistent basis.
Nope.
And they cannot seem to gel as a team like the Bruins are gelling.
Yeah.
Watch the Bruins. I know it's a totally different sport and it's different. I get it. But watch the Bruins gel as a team and go out there and skate and score goals and see what they do after they score a goal and all this kind of stuff. And then watch the Celtics and see if the same thing happens. You're not going to see it. It doesn't happen.
Nope.
And it's really super disappointing. I also think, and I've been telling people for weeks.
You can shout for the rooftops, everybody. Shout for the rooftops.
I'm going to shout up on the rooftops too. I'm going to tell you right now, they got a lot of dead wood in this team, and they need to get rid of the dead wood and start getting some players in here that want to play. Now, one of the things they absolutely need, is a viable point guard that's going to be out there all the time, that's going to be a floor general, that's going to help
stay healthy.
Stays healthy. That's going to help manage the ball. They have Jason Tatum bringing up the freaking ball. They have 20,000 people.
And they have
Maybe Marcus Smart is the guy, and that's okay. That's all right. I don't necessarily have a problem with that. But say that's what he's going to do. Is he going to come off the bench? Because that's what Marcus Smart typically does, because they got Kemba. But Kemba is not playing in every freaking game.
No.
Okay, so if he doesn't play the next game, which he won't, there goes your 34 points. There goes your 20 points. And Brad Stevens won't change that.
Right.
You know why? Because he wants them healthy for the playoffs. If they get into the playoffs. You have to get to the playoffs.
I mean, well, hold on a second, because they're getting in the playoffs. They've already clinched a spot, at least in the play-in round. So let's just be clear about that. So they're going to be in the.
I get that, but that's that's not what I was saying. What I was saying is that they need to play better, and they're not, and they haven't figured it out with all kinds of different. Let's do this. Let's do that. Jabari Parker was not a bad pickup. He's got a 2-year deal. I don't think that's a bad pickup at all. I think he's been playing fairly well. Not terrific, not the Jabari Parker of old, but he's a viable guy who could come off the bench. Neesmith has come out, and all of a sudden he's scoring points and doing fairly well. Doing a putting some energy out there off the bench, which is really good. But they don't have like a Chris Paul. You just don't have a Chris Paul. And Chris Paul is a perfect example of a floor general for the Phoenix Suns, who's been playing off the hook. He's not a young guy anymore. He's not old. He's not a young guy, but he makes everybody else look really great. And you can't rely on Tatum and Brown. I'm not even going to say Kemba. Can't rely on Tatum and Brown to win you games all the time. It's not going to happen with these good teams.
Right.
It's not going to happen.
Right. No, you're 100% right. I wrote down sort of my second point on our little outline here. What is going on with this team, and why do we keep having to ask that question? We keep having to ask that question because they keep just playing consistently inconsistent. That's the whole reason why we keep having to ask that question, why we get so frustrated with this team is that they're so consistently inconsistent. I mean, I have to repeat that phrase over and over again because it rings so true that this team, it's just so frustrating. And honestly, you see the potential that this team has. I mean, I literally on this team's worst day, I could see them literally losing, being swept in the first round of the playoffs. On this team's best day, I could actually see them, God forbid, winning a playoff series or maybe 2 playoff series. You don't know what team you're going to get on any given night. And at this juncture in the season, when you have maybe a week left before the playoffs, that's not a good place to be in. You would think a team would have found themselves in 5 months. They have not, and they don't show any signs of that they're going to. So,
yeah, I agree. It's very frustrating.
I'm out of words because I feel like I've been saying the same thing. We've been saying the same thing since the season started, even, or at least for the last 2 months, just week after week after week, just railing on this inconsistency, and it's not going anywhere. So I'm throwing my hands up in the air, just saying, I don't know if this team wins the playoff series, great. If they get swept in the first round, won't surprise me one bit. But it's just, I'm about ready to,
It's very frustrating.
I'm tripping over my words here. It's just so it's so frustrating.
It is very frustrating, and I have seen the post game many times. I have seen stuff on, again, social media, Bleacher Report and teams. I've seen lots of different. I've seen Basketball Insiders, and they're dumbfounded. They have no answers for what this team could be. They have no answers for what this team has done. They're so inconsistent.
Yeah.
They could beat Orlando by 50, and then the next time they play Orlando, they could lose by 50.
Yeah.
It just there's just no consistency in their play. The only consistency in their play has been Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. And I shudder to think what is going to happen with this team over these next couple of weeks and then to the playoffs, because it looks like it's just headed down it just does not look like it's headed for good things. I mean, hey, listen, I hope that I'm wrong, and maybe they'll turn on some magic switch and just go on this amazing run and prove everybody wrong in the playoffs. But I don't see that happening. I don't even see them at this exact moment in time. I would put it at less than a 50% chance they even make it out of the first round. That's how frustrated and just done I am with this Celtics team. I'm sorry. And I'm the one who predicted they were going to be a top 4 seed in the East without a question at the beginning of the season. Right. Shows how much I know.
Yeah.
But
no,
yeah,
I do agree with you, Robbie, and it's very frustrating. It's been super frustrating to watch them because you don't know which team you're going to see. Which team, you know Jason Tatum's going to score 20, 30 points.
And then
sometimes 60. But you know that's the only consistent part of the whole game that you'll watch. You don't know whether they're going to lose by 50 and Jason Tatum still gets 34.
And then some games you don't even know which team you're going to get each from half to half.
Right.
You look at the San Antonio game.
Right. Exactly.
Down 32 in the first half. I wasn't watching the first half. I got into that game late, and I was so glad that I did it because the first half they looked like they didn't deserve to be on the same floor as San Antonio, and then somehow, some way, they managed to come back and win that ball game. I still don't know how they did that, but they did.
So Robbie, let me ask you a question that's actually not something that we necessarily talked about, but I think it's something that's important and something that people are starting to raise, and there's some, not rumors going around, but people are starting to raise this as a possibility. Is Brad Stevens the coach that is he the coach that's going to bring him a championship, or is he not? It just seems to me that there is that there's something there that's just not working out.
Because whatever,
it's not just the players.
He's gotten them close. They've been on that doorstep, but they've never broken through. And after a while, you have to really look in the mirror and ask that question and give it an honest look.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know the answer. I mean, he's a good basketball coach. Don't get me wrong. Some of the things he's done with teams over the years here have been mightily impressive. And I'm not trying to downplay at all what he's done positively for this organization. But in terms of getting them to that level of making it actually to the finals and actually being in contention for a legit championship, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And that's a scary, after when a guy's 8 years in, or however many years he's been here. I don't even remember how many years he's been here. 7, 8 years into his time in Boston. That's not a good place to be at when you're still unsure if your head coach of 8 years, can lead you to a title. And I can completely understand why there's rumblings and rumors and hot seat this and hot seat that, because people are just tired of being frustrated with the Celtics team and seeing them get what looks to be so close and then just not getting over the hump. Oh, now we're back down to the middle of the pack. Oh, we got back again, but we still didn't get over the hump. Something's got to give at some point.
And I'm not saying, and Robbie, I'm not the one who's saying he is or he isn't.
No,
he just hasn't proved to me that he is.
No, I know. I'm giving you my honest opinion.
Absolutely.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know the answer to that question, and I think that in and of itself is a very frustrating place to be at this point in his head coaching tenure with this organization.
I agree with that.
So, a lot remains to be seen with the Celtics, and we could go on for hours and hours, and still would be we'll pull
come back.
Hair out. We
can go around in circles, Robbie, but we're still going to end up in the same place.
Exactly. But I did want to get to talking about sort of a brighter topic. The NFL draft was last week. Obviously, again, we had Josh on. Again, if you have not watched episode 82, please give it a watch. It was a great hour of just us attempting to, really prognosticate the draft. And as you saw, we did okay, but
the boys, whiskey, and the draft. 3 definite combinations that always seem to.
Sure. Okay. But no, like I was saying, the NFL draft was last Thursday and obviously continued into last weekend. I'm gonna hand off to you, Doug, because no pun intended, especially with the later rounds, I didn't follow as intently as I did the first round. The first round I was locked in tight. I will be honest with you, and obviously the Pats did make their first round selection this year at number 15. They did not trade it up or down.
Nope.
And they selected Mac Jones, the quarterback out of the University of Alabama. Doug, give us your I have some thoughts as well, as you and I texted about. Give us your thoughts on the Pats' newest first round quarterback.
Well, there's some rumors circling, of course, now. Of course, there's always rumors before, after, during, days after, a week after. There's always rumors circling around. The first rumor is that he is here. He is here. He has the
He
playbook.
was
He's
at
studying.
the other day for the press conference, so we know he has at least been here.
He is still here. He is working out. He has arrived. He is working. He is done. As far as I'm concerned, the Patriots picked up their quarterback. I just want to say up front that our that night was very interesting because not only was I texting with you, but I was texting with Josh.
By the way, just really quick, sorry, the Bruins did win 4-0, so just wanted to give the
Excellent.
full score
Excellent.
update there. Go
That's
ahead,
great.
sorry.
No worries. Breaking news. You could always come in with breaking news. Doesn't matter. No problem. That's the kind of show we are.
Yep.
So I was not only texting with you, but I was also texting with Josh. And
Right.
Josh was also throwing back, oh, they're going to pick him and they're going to pick him. And oh my goodness, is he available? And what's going to happen? Is Chicago going to move up or blah, blah? And we've gone back. And our friend of the show, Drew Good, who was on our show, talking about sports betting.
Drew, yes.
He called me and then he was texting me. So I was actually texting with all of you at the same time, which was made it kind of more fun.
Oh, yeah.
But as far as I'm concerned, they picked up their quarterback. Now, what just came out just recently, and there's been all kinds of talk about how Robert Kraft said, oh, you're going to have a quarterback here, and this is what you got to do. And are you really serious that an owner's going to tell Bill Belichick or GM what to do? Please. Whether they could have moved up to get another guy, another quarterback, I don't know. All I know is that this guy won the national championship.
Yeah.
This guy has already proven himself to be in the pack of 5.
He also played under 2 other national championship winning quarterbacks.
Correct. Who are now at least one
both in the NFL.
Both in the NFL.
Yeah, Hurts and Tua are both in the NFL.
That's correct. So there are things that have come out because the scouts are talking a little bit. And yes, Bill Belichick has scouts. One scout is actually retiring this.
Ernie.
Ernie.
The legend himself, Ernie Adams.
That's right, Ernie Adams.
Yes.
Now, supposedly, Ernie Adams had a and Matt Patricia, they both got together and they had a lot of input on this quarterback situation.
Right.
And I think what came out that I heard tonight, and I guess it's breaking because I heard it probably about an hour and 15 minutes ago on sports radio, was the fact this is why they like Mac. They like Mac because of his name. No, they don't like Mac. No, it has nothing to do with it. They like Mac because of a few things. The biggest thing is that whether and this is the film that they watched. This guy is a team player. He loves the game of football. He's a huge team player. Whether he's handing it off to a running back or he's throwing to one of his wide receivers, he gets excited.
Yeah.
He is what they call a ultra competitor. They love that. Bill Belichick wants the competitive. That's why Tom Brady was so liked by Bill and Robert, was because Tom Brady, and again, I'm not comparing him to Tom Brady. I'm just saying that he has the.
Don't compare them, Doug. Don't compare them.
I'm not. I'm just saying Tom Brady has that also. Other people, other quarterbacks and other players that have that too. Edelman had it too. The ultimate, Patrice Bergeron has that too. Going out 2011 and going out with his body was broken. He went out and played anyway, care less. Collapse lung? No problem. I can breathe a little. I don't care.
Chara, broken jaw, can't speak. Oh, I'll still be
exactly.
No big deal.
The ultra competitive, ultra team-oriented, kind of getting excited about a 2-yard run for a first down. This is the kind of guy that they were looking for.
Yeah.
There are other things that Josh and I kind of connected with that we kind of talked about. Justin Fields, not ready to play for at least a year, if not two. He's just not ready yet. Look at his stats, not ready to play yet. Trey Lance, not quite ready to play
I was
yet.
going to ask you how, not to get too far off topic, but how surprised were you that the Niners went that direction with the
Very
third pick?
surprised. Actually, I think the nation, the world was surprised. It blew up the internet. What they did.
Twitter literally was close to being broken by that one pick alone. Yeah.
Very, very surprised that they would pick somebody like Trey Lance. I got real and as soon as Trey Lance got picked, Josh texted me. He was like, "What just happened? What just happened?" He was dumbfounded. He was like, "What the heck did they do that for?" So
they picked
and of course, Robbie, as soon as they picked Trey Lance, Jimmy G was off the table for us.
Right, exactly. Oh yeah, of course.
Because that's just not gonna happen. Trey Lance is not ready to play yet.
No.
Close. The two guys out of the five that are absolutely ready to play is our number one pick,
Mac Jones, yeah.
Mac Jones, and the number one pick.
Sorry, yeah, I misunderstood you there. Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah. Trevor Lawrence. Those are the two guys who are actually NFL ready right now.
And then the quarterback of the Jets picked, which again, it's the Jets, so go figure.
They're probably going to play him anyway because he's the best possible thought process on it. Well, I mean, he might be ready, he might not be ready, but
no, I don't want to discount Wilson. I mean, Zach.
No, I don't want to discount him either. But I still think I still think Mac Jones is 5 steps ahead of him.
I take the Jets. I just like to make fun of the Jets.
It's more the Jets suck.
Yeah, like the Rangers, by the way, who we just beat 4-0.
Hey, wait a minute, Robbie. Are the Rangers? Did the Rangers make the playoffs?
I don't think that they did. I think that they've been eliminated for playoff contention. I think that we just shut them out 4-0 today. So yeah, Rangers. Hey Rangers. I don't know why I'm looking over here, but hey Rangers, you suck. Let me look into the camera and say it clearly and concisely. Rangers, you suck. You suck.
Oh man, I'm gonna hear from our friend Jeff in New York soon. As soon as he sees this episode, we're gonna hear it. But that's okay. I'm glad he's listening to the episode. So watching it.
Jeff, your team sucks.
I guarantee you he'll have some words for you too. So I'm sure. And we'll just have to say those.
That's right. I'll take his words while I'm watching the Bruins in the playoffs. It's all good.
There it is. So anyway, I think Mac Jones is ready to play. Do I think he's going to play right away?
Yeah.
I don't think he's gonna.
No, probably not.
Maybe but at least not the first 5, 6.
Now here's the question: will he be the backup? I think that's the big question people are going to. Basically the big question people are asking right now is who's going to back up Cam? Because if you haven't, sort of come to the conclusion or sort of just relegated yourself to the fact that Cam Newton is going to be the starting quarterback of the Patriots in 2021, then I don't know what else to tell you. Cam Newton is going to be the starting quarterback of the Patriots in 2021 to start the season, folks. It's happening. Like it or not, get on board with it because it is happening. And by the way, this pick, this pick was a lot of things, but what a glaring indictment it was of one Jarrett Stidham. I mean, what just a bust that guy has been. I mean, if Jarrett Stidham was anywhere near NFL ready or quarterback of the future ready, they're not picking Mac Jones. They're picking Mac Jones because Jarrett Stidham is a bust. That's the conclusion I've come to. And nobody can give me any evidence to say that that's the wrong conclusion. He is basically just turned into a bust who is not turned into anywhere near what people thought he was going to be.
Right.
So there you go.
No, I absolutely agree with that. I'm not sure if you can have Mac Jones be your backup necessarily because he doesn't have much experience, but as he goes through the games and stuff like that, he'll have more and more experience. He may get in there a little bit here and there. So
he is good for our system because I just feel like if you play in a Nick Saban system, you can, you could fit, I feel like, into a Bill Belichick system in so many ways.
Yeah, because it's very similar.
Yeah. So I think
Very
he's a
similar
very good quarterback I think he's a good pick and a good quarterback for what I've come down on is that he is could be, I mean, obviously you don't know you're right, till you see him actually get on the field and take snaps and all that. But he has the potential to be a very good fit into this Patriot system as a quarterback. So.
Oh, and by the way, I just wanted to tell you, they say that Mac Jones is not a running quarterback. He's typically a pocket passer.
Right.
But
Yeah.
the fact is that if you watch this draft, watches, when he went, do all those things, the 40 and the jumping and all kinds of stuff, the throwing, all that stuff. When he went to the, whatever you call it, combine or whatever you call that draft kind of decision-making kind of situation when you go and see the players.
Right.
He was about 0.06 away from Mahomes in the 40.
Wow.
All right. So, yeah, he may not run because he's a pocket passer, but when he runs,
look out.
He's not necessarily slow.
Yeah.
So when they say that, it's like, okay, yeah, well, of course he's a pocket passer. So we get that. That's what he does. That's what he's known for. And that's what they had for the last 20 years. I get that. Totally get that. Do I think he'll be successful? And we've never asked that question, and I just asked it.
You're just asking questions to yourself at this point.
I'm just asking questions to myself at this point.
That's right. I do it all the time. It's all good.
I think he will. I think he just needs to develop a little bit of the NFL way, but I think he's ready. I think he's ready now. So if Cam goes down in game 2, I think you could throw him out there. I wouldn't necessarily. Maybe game 5, 6, or 7. Yeah, I might consider it, but it's one of those things where he just needs to have a little bit more. But I think he's more ready than some of the other quarterbacks out there that just got drafted.
I think I agree with you completely, and I very much look forward to seeing him once he actually gets on the field and really starts showing what he's capable of through practices, through preseason, and when he gets his chance into regular season football. The other half of the conversation that I wanted to have, Doug, sort of just related to the draft in general with the Patriots. First of all, and again, I'm not as familiar, so to speak, with these other draft picks that they made, but I was curious just if you had any sort of thoughts on any other of their picks throughout the 3 days, specifically, and also I was curious to hear what type of grade you would give overall the 2021 Patriots draft.
Overall, I would give Bill probably in grades either. But I would probably give him an A- at least. I think he did really well. He did the last pick, what was just pick number like 246 or something. The last round was actually a wide receiver. Not a tall wide receiver, not a wide receiver type. Obviously he is a wide receiver type, but he's 6 feet and I think 190 pounds, something like that. But I would give him all in all, he picked up another Alabama player.
Yeah. A defensive guy, right?
Yeah. I'm sorry. I have the I'm not. I'm in that realm of I need to look them up because I'm not quite there yet.
I just wanted to get some. I just want some sort of general thoughts because again I'm not that familiar with a lot of these guys either. I do know that they signed an undrafted free agent kicker out of Michigan. That's about all.
I saw that yesterday.
Number 5 last year at field goals, which is not necessarily
We do not have the best luck with kickers.
No, we do not.
I mean, except for
Folk
Kowski
didn't do that
and-
badly last year. He didn't do terribly last year. He did better than he did the year before.
yeah,
But,
that's true.
So, yeah, no, I think the Pats, they filled some needs with the remainder of that draft. I think a lot of people, really had their eyes on that first round and what they were going to do with 15 and what way they were going to go. And after that, people were sort of loosely, including myself included, were loosely following. And again, I think that they sort of, they filled in some spots, especially on the defensive side of things. So I think it's gonna be interesting to see, how, like with any draft, after any draft, see how these guys develop.
Yeah. So in round 2, number 38, they picked the defensive tackle Christian Barmore. Supposed to be
The pass rusher is what I heard.
just YouTube the guy, Alabama defensive tackle. Just YouTube him. He is a monster.
Okay.
Supposed to be one of the best picks out of defensive tackles in the actual draft itself. Really, really good. Round 3, they picked defensive end Ronnie Perkins. This guy's an animal. This guy is an absolute animal. I actually YouTubed all these pictures to see, kind of what kind of YouTube kind of thing. This guy is crazy. He's an absolute lunatic, but he's perfect for the pass. They picked a running back. I don't know too much about Rondre Stevenson. They picked him in the 4th round. 5th round, they picked Cameron McGrone, a linebacker. I don't know too much about him, but he's a big guy. He's huge. Round 6, they picked Joshua Bledsoe. No relation to Drew that I know of. And outside tackle William Sherman. I don't know too much about those guys. And then round 7, number 242, they picked wide receiver Trey Nixon from UCF. So all in all, I think he did a great job. Obviously, he was going to go defense. He picked his quarterback, and I do give them pretty good grades.
I give him a B plus. I'm kind of in the same realm as you. I thought they did a good job at, like you said, sort of, filling some needs, and obviously the quarterback pick I've come to really like as well. Obviously, like I said, it's going to be sort of a wait and see game to see, like with any year, how these guys develop and who comes out strong or whatnot. Still a little ways to go before we get back into the real crux of football talk and getting back into the getting prepared for the 2021 season. So obviously a lot more to come in the coming weeks and months as we sort of are post draft now and headed full speed towards training camp and then obviously the 2021 season. So that now brings us, folks, to the end portion of our episode and our final thoughts. And I have been waiting with bated breath now for the last 45 minutes to hear, after that teaser that Doug put out there for his final thought / final rant, apparently. Doug rant time. Yeah, that's right.
There it is, right there. There it is.
There. So, Doug, I'm going to turn the floor over to you. I'm going to turn the mic over to you, figuratively, and just give you the floor and just ask. I'll tee it up for you just by saying, what is your final thought for episode number 83?
I have a couple thoughts. The first thought is what happened. The Tom Wilson thing happened, and the whole thing that has basically what happened was Tom Wilson had a guy named Panarin on the ground. Panarin didn't have his helmet on. He grabs him and slams him on the ice, slams his head on the ice, and then punches him in the head. Again, this is just huge for me because I'm a big NHL fan. And the reason, excuse me, the reason it's huge for me is because of the fact that this is what NHL is trying to take out of the game. They're trying to take guys like this out of the game. It's really important because, again, the whole thing about head of player safety. If you have a head of player safety, which, by the way, George Peros is the head of player safety, and I'm about to have a conference call with both of them together. Gary Bettman, who, by the way, on the Carlo hit, said, "Oh, that's not a good look to suspend him." Wait, what? It's not a good look? You're looking for look now, Bettman? What kind of crap is that? You're trying to take these hits out of the game. You're trying to take nasty hits out of the game. And all of a sudden, you didn't think that Carlo had a bad hit? He was boarded. His head was crushed. You're freaking kidding me on this. And it just doesn't make any sense. They're trying to get this out of the game, but they're not backing it up by giving this guy Tom Wilson, who's a dirty player, who has a past. You're not suspending this guy because what? The playoffs are coming up. This is absolute bull crap, and this is what turns my stomach when people say one thing and then they go into another. When the NFL says one thing, oh, we're trying to do this, and all of a sudden they haven't done that badly with the player safety. I think they've done really well with the player safety. And in fact, I think they've gone overboard in some cases with the player safety. But I don't think that's a bad thing. But you're thinking about players in there, and obviously player safety means the players and them being safe. As far as I'm concerned, everybody who's watching the Sports Blitz today, tomorrow, Saturday, over the weekend, YouTube Tom Wilson Rangers, YouTube it, and you make your decision. Listen, I'm all good for anybody's decision on this. The fact is that you YouTube it and you tell me whether you think that was dirty or not. Because that was one of the dirtiest plays I've seen in a long time. Uncalled for, absolute dirty. The guy went nutty, and he should be out of the game right now. He should be out for the rest of the year, as far as I'm concerned. Gone. That's my opinion. Or suspend him for the rest of the season, and then if you want to do 10 games, that's fine. Do it for the next season too. But player safety is player safety. They failed. George Peros and Gary Bettman failed on this on yesterday or day before, whenever they made this stupid ass decision to fine him for $5,000. Excuse me. Let me ask you a question. Tom Wilson makes $5,000 in 5 minutes of play. So don't give me any of this. It's like the highest. It's unbelievable. Drives me crazy. This is the highest fine that you can get in the NHL. $5,000. These guys don't make like baseball players. They don't make baseball player salaries. They don't, but they do make millions of dollars. And over years, if they've been with the league for 5-10 years, they've already made a good chunk of $20-30 million. $5,000? How is that going to stop Tom Wilson from doing this again? The only thing that does it is to suspend the ass for doing what he did, and then that's the deterrent. They suspended people before. Why is this different? I don't understand. That's what drives me crazy. So as far as I'm concerned, here's my little call, Robbie, with Peros and with Bettman. You ready?
Ready.
I'm not going to talk too long. Hi, George. Yeah, I'm calling you George. I'm calling you Gary. Guess what? You guys are fired. Thanks. Bye. That's it. far as I'm concerned. And what the Rangers did was they were frustrated, they were angry, they were pissed off, and I don't blame them. I don't even like New York teams. I don't like the Rangers, but in this case, they have a case. So they put an ad in whatever they put out to the commissioner. They said, and to Peros, they said, look, you're crazy. This is what did you watch the video? Did you watch the different angles of the video? Do you have any sense of what's going on here? And I get it. I understand. It's not a good idea to it's against the rules to go against the refs and go against the league and go against this. But you know what? In this case, I don't blame them. I don't blame them at all. And I think they were wrong. And that's, I don't have any other words for it.
Yeah,
I really don't.
I'm with you.
And what's interesting is the NHL versus the NFL, two different things. These guys, the NFL just developed. Hold on, just 2 seconds. I'm gonna bring it up here. The NFL is now going to be taking care of their older players. This is something that is huge. It's called the Player Care Foundation. This is absolutely huge, and no other organization, sports organization that I know of has this. Now, the first thing is that the NHL, after 10 years of being in the NHL, you retire after 10 years, you get a pension of like $255,000 a year, which isn't too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not too bad. But they don't have something like this. The NFL Player Care Foundation, PCF, is an independent organization dedicated to helping retired players improve their quality of life. PCF addresses all aspects of life by providing programs and assistance with medical, emotional, financial, social, and community issues. The National Football League recognizes the enormous contributions former players have had in the development and success of America's favorite sport, NFL football. To acknowledge and express appreciation to their contributions, the NFL owners, in partnership with the NFL Players Association, Pro Football Hall of Fame, and the NFL Alumni Association, created the NFL Player Care Foundation in September of 2007. PCF is administered by a board of 8 directors. The National Football League, Players Association, Pro Football Hall of Fame, and National Football League Alumni Association are each appointed nominating director. In addition, 4 outside directors share their expertise in foundation management, mental health, social welfare issues, and healthcare. Unbelievable. This is how the NFL treats their players. As far as I'm concerned, the NHL failed their players, or a player, a few days ago. That's my rant.
Yeah.
So what's your final thought for the evening, Robbie, as I cool down with the ice on my head?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'm completely with you 100% on everything you just said. No, my final thought is a bit more pleasant, obviously.
Sorry about that. I'll try to have a pleasant one next week.
No, you're good. Hey, listen, this is what we do, folks. Sometimes we have strong opinions, and we gotta show them off at times. So no problem at all. But I did have the occasion on Tuesday night to make my way out to America's most beloved ballpark, Fenway Park, for the first time.
Oh yeah.
July of 2019. It was a thrilling return for me back to Fenway. The Red Sox won, obviously. It was a great game, a lot of excitement, them hitting 4 home runs. And it was interesting because, obviously it was only 12% capacity. There were definitely, the signs of, the different world that we live in. Oh, yeah. Sort of around with the protocols and stuff like that, masks and seats and all that good stuff. But in a lot of ways, it still felt like the same normal quintessential Fenway experience, and it just felt so good to be back
Oh yeah.
and be at a professional sporting event and to be at a Red Sox game, and it just there's no words to describe how exciting it was to finally be able to go and see the Sox in action again, and I'm just so thrilled, so elated, and can't wait to be able to go to more games, this season.
Yeah.
Definitely gonna try to get to more games as it gets later on into the spring and into the summer. But just an awesome experience, and very happy that they won too. That definitely was.
That helps.
Yeah,
That helps.
But no, like I said, just very was just thrilled to be back, and just great, another great outing at Fenway Park for sure. So, yeah, that's my.
Well,
that's
that's all. That's the sign of the times, is that we're starting to get back.
Yeah.
Starting to get back. So that's something that's super important. I'm glad you were able to go, and I know that you were very excited about going.
We at the Sports Blitz fully endorse this very simple idea: get vaccinated, folks. Get your vaccines. It's
Robbie,
not,
you have yours, right? You have two?
I'm fully vaccinated. I passed the 14 days, post second shot. I'm in the column.
I have my first one. My second one is toward the around May 20th, May 23rd, something like that. So I'm going to go for the second one. My wife and my daughter have both been vaccinated too. So yes, we completely endorse go getting vaccinated. And we also endorse, keep doing what everybody's doing, because it's getting much better. Working on getting back and looking forward to, Red Sox games and that kind of thing coming up. So, we definitely endorse getting vaccinated.
Exactly, and we're not saying that at all.
Doesn't just help you.
Political. We're not a political show.
Nope.
This issue shouldn't be political, as far as I'm concerned.
This isn't political. This is not just helping yourself, but you're helping others too.
Exactly. No, I'm 100% with you. 100% with you. So, that's gonna wrap up episode number 83 of the Sports Blitz. A great time as always. And by the way, we hope you enjoyed the little sort of before the show, behind the scenes footage that we shot earlier.
We're gonna be doing that from now on.
Yeah, giving you a little taste of
what happens before our show.
What happens before we really hit the record button. So
it gets a little crazy, so you'll probably like it a lot.
Hope you guys enjoyed that. But like I said, until episode 84 will be coming up. A lot more to talk about: the Bruins, Celtics, Red Sox, Patriots. If anything if anything happens on that front, we'll definitely touch on that. Looking forward to it. Until then, that's Doug.
Wait, we got to tell them where we're on.
I know. I always forget to do this.
That's okay. That's all right. We're on YouTube.
We're on YouTube, we're on
Facebook,
SoundCloud, Facebook, Twitter. Again, big special shout out to our sponsor, Zyman Organizing. Definitely go.
Right, there's a link on the site for that too, so you'll see that.
So, as always, thank you everybody for tuning in. Like I said, for Doug, I'm Robbie, and this has been episode number 83 of the Sports Blitz.
Yeah.
We'll catch you next time, everybody. See you later.
Yeah.